Hey yo, what is up guys? I am back making another wrestling video review. And it's of SummerSlam, the 2021 edition of the show. I'm not actually sure chronologically where the show lands, but that does not matter because we are just going to be talking about the show here. Alright, so getting into it. We'll start off the night with Rated RKBro versus AJ Styles and Omas. And yeah, this was actually a really good match. I really liked the storyline leading up to this, and it again was awesome. It really reminds me of the early Team Hell No kind of stage with like Kane and Daniel Bryan, and then how Daniel Bryan got massively over because of that. So I think the same thing could really happen to Riddle here with his personality really shining through for the two. And yeah, I really liked how like AJ Styles and Randy Orton had these like subtle nuances throughout the match where they kind of like would like build, and then they like swerve, meaning like where like the hot tag with Randy Orton, right when you think Riddle's about to get it, AJ Styles dives in just at the nick of time to get it, and then the whole like way like Randy Orton, like you know how he normally does like the power slam, he did a back body drop instead. And yeah, everyone played their parts really well in this. I actually really enjoyed this match, and it was a really good opener. Also reminded me of another a Randy Orton match from WrestleMania 29 with Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show versus The Shield. It really reminded me of that match, just for some reason. Not that they were really that alike, but they just kind of reminded me of just a good opener and a way to start off the show. So next up, we got Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie, and I have to say, Eva Marie is just so fucking hot. Like, she can be on my screen any day she wants, and same goes for Alexa Bliss. This was really just a nothing match. It wasn't, like, long enough to really be anything. It just was kind of there. Eva Marie doesn't really have that much of an offense or anything like that, but, you know, I think it's just, like, if she can get decent, she can draw a lot of money for WWE. And I think a lot of hardcore fans, they don't really realize that there's these other fan bases out there because they're just so into being a hardcore fan, and a lot of them are wrong about a lot of stuff, but it doesn't really matter. Anyways, yeah, it wasn't really anything. I don't really have that much to say about it because there wasn't really anything else to say. I think next up is what do we got next up here? Yeah, Sheamus versus Damion Priest. Damion Priest, I think WWE, they're very, very high on him, and yeah, I think he might be a future Money in the Bank briefcase holder. I think that's kind of the direction they're pushing him in because he's getting booked really strong at WrestleMania and here at SummerSlam. He's being put in just all these great highlight spot matches, and now he's the United States champion. The thing is, though, he hurt himself in this match, and like I couldn't really you don't really know if they're hurt or not at first. You're just like, are they hurt? You're kind of like questioning it, and then I was like, no, he's hurt because what happened was he did that dive where he steps on the rope and then he like goes over, but Sheamus was a little far back, and he landed right on like the side of his back here, and I thought maybe he popped a rib or his hip or something, because he wasn't moving well after that. Yeah, that's really all there was to say about that. A good match here, a really good match for the United States Championship. It was just a solid undercard match, and yeah, nothing else really to say about it. I don't think like Sheamus, he's kind of exactly at the spot he kind of belongs in the mid card. He's not really exciting enough to where you put him in the main event, but he's not like terrible enough or he has a shitty enough look to where it's like just get rid of him. I think he's just kind of exactly where he belongs to be, just in that United States picture scene or tag team scene. He's just not a main event level guy. I just don't really see that for him. Now we have so next up we have the Mysterios versus the Usos. I really don't have that much to say about this match other than it was just a solid undercard match. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, the Usos, they did that whole mock Eddie thing where they were like doing like the suplexes, and that was kind of like the big part of the match for me that I kind of caught. But the Usos pick up another big win. So yeah, moving on from that. This is where things get strange. So I don't know why Sasha Banks wasn't on the show, or if they were going to announce that, because they built it up, and then they're like, oh, Sasha Banks won't be here, and it's like, okay, and it's like, oh, Carmella will be there, and it's like, and you just hear like the groans and just the dead silence as Carmella walks to the ring. Bianca Belair looked great. I liked her ring attire. She looked really cool here. I should mention that real quick. And I was really happy that like she got a big run with the belt, because obviously what's about to happen. Becky Lynch comes out, dusts off Carmella, gets a huge pop. Everyone goes wild for Becky Lynch, and yeah, that's really And then we get to the match, and then they're like, hey, let's have a match. And Bianca Belair was like, yeah, I'll take you on for the belt. This will look cool. I wrestle the man. I'm a baby face. I take on all comers. And then she ends up losing in like 20 seconds. She gets like hit with a... Becky goes to shake her hand, pops her, hits the manhandle on her, and yeah. So not much really to say about that. There was nothing else really to it, but Becky just got a huge reaction, and yeah, the crowd just went absolutely wild for Becky Lynch there. So I think next up we got Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. Again, this is just like some Raw match, just a squash match for... Just really a match to get Drew on the show, so we'll just move on from it. It was nothing. It was just a big win for Drew in a stadium show and for him to get a pop. Next up is the Women's Raw Women's World Title match, and this match, to me, it just comes off as every other Raw Women's or Charlotte Flair triple threat match I've ever seen. I know, like, it's not that it was bad by any means. It just seemed like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to hit our high spots, and then we're all going to dive on each other, and then... Yeah, I don't know, it just didn't seem like very special to me, like there was something just different about it, so that's all I really have to say about it. It's not that it was bad or good, it was just kind of like, it seemed average, but not, like it was a good match, it just wasn't like, oh, this is one of those ones you're going to remember type. But I think it definitely would have been better if it was just a singles match. It wouldn't have been, I think that it would have come off a lot better if it was a singles match rather than a triple threat. It was just that once you have the triple threat in there, you have to do... I don't know, it just seemed kind of like too much to me. I think it would have been better if just a singles match, but whatever. Next up, we get Seth Rollins versus Edge. I just went Seth Roman Reigns. Yeah, so this match here was awesome. Seth Rollins, he comes out and he has an awesome entrance and he looks great in that ring attire. And I love him just showing off his personality. That I will say. He just has such a good personality and how he's just so maniacal and over the top with it. It just comes off really good. Edge comes out with the Brood music, and that was sick. I have to say that entrance was so cool. And he had the old sunglasses on, and yeah, and then Metalligus came on by Alter Bridge, and that was just awesome. So Edge's entrance was probably the best entrance of the night, which I have to say was awesome. And the match itself was awesome, them working over Edge's neck and the story they told. And yeah, I really was a big fan of this match. I think, yeah, this match has a lot of like replay value to it. And I love the ending with Edge like going with the submissions. And yeah, I like that it ended in the submission. Just something different for Edge, rather just ending in the spear. And that's, it kind of like took you in a different direction with Edge winning with the crossface. And Seth Rollins has just been killing it this year. He just comes off as just such a great heel. The dude just looks great, and just everything he does, like his matches with Cesaro, his matches at Money in the Bank were good, and just like everything this guy's kind of a part of, it's just really, really good. So next up, I kind of only caught part of this because the way my stream worked. I caught the whole match. I just didn't catch like the entrances or anything to it. It was Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Goldberg, like, I can't even remember he like speared Bobby Lashley on the outside. Bobby Lashley like hit the ground and like slid and hit his head on the side of the ring post. And that just looked like it sucked. And yeah, R.I.P. Bobby Lashley after that. But yeah, and then Bobby Lashley started working over Goldberg's knee. Yeah, Goldberg, he ain't better than a 90-second match. That's really the only way to put it. He's a spear and a jackhammer, and yeah, he can't really do much outside of those kind of matches. So otherwise, everything else he does is kind of weak. But yeah, he's really big, really bulky, but he's just such a huge star. I understand the need to include him on. I am sorry, guys. One sec. Yeah, I understand the need to include him, but yeah, the match itself, it wasn't like great. It wasn't terrible. It was just kind of like there. I wouldn't say it was like the Undertaker versus Goldberg match bad, but yeah, it was a little bit better, I'd say, than the Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre match from the year. I enjoyed this a little better. I think they're going to continue it, so yeah. Moving on to the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus John Cena, and John Cena came out wearing this cool new shirt. that was really sick, and I liked how it had all like his 16 World Championship belts and matches and when he won them, so it just looked really cool. I really want to buy that shirt actually because I thought it was really sick. And Roman Reigns comes out, new epic theme song, and the match itself, it had great build-up, it had a great story, it had great star power. It just, to me, it didn't reach that, like, great level, like that, it reached that really good level. Like, it's a really good match, but it wasn't like, up here. Like, the storytelling in it was really good. John Cena, like the first half of the match, Roman Reigns took, and the second half of the match, John Cena took, so it was kind of like the sway and momentum. But, yeah, it was a really good match, and John Cena's completely killed his own finisher with having everyone kick out of it all the time and stuff. So, yeah, but it was a really good match. I really like Roman Reigns. Just comes off as just such a star and just so dominant and like next level. And it's like finally you got the star that Vince McMahon really wanted and saw in him all that time ago that we the fans, myself included, just hated. So yeah, the match was just really good, and I loved the 3 AAs and how it just like built up each time. It just got closer and closer, but just wasn't enough. And the Avalanche AA wasn't enough. And Roman Reigns, he was just playing just such a great heel in this match, and how he's like talking to fans. We don't need John. John can go back to Hollywood. Like he's just really hit his stride, especially like charisma and personality wise. It just really allowed him to open up that. For some reason, he just could not connect as a babyface, but as a heel, he's just really like on a whole nother level. And then, after the match, we had the return of Brock Lesnar, which I was so stoked about. That just got a huge pop, and yeah, it was amazing. You just see Brock coming out, and he got that whole new look with the little man bun. And yeah, I thought it was really cool to see Brock back, and I guess we're going to see Brock versus Roman at some point here. I don't know if we're going to see that Survivor Series or the next pay-per-view. I forgot to look up what it's Extreme Rules, so they might do it there, but I'd personally wait until they do that. So, yeah, I'm actually really stoked about seeing Brock versus Roman Reigns again. And I like the dynamic change of everything. So I think it is definitely worth doing again because it is a big money match. And I think this will probably has potential to be way better than their 2018 feud, which was just a complete debacle. So I think this could be like the true sequel to their WrestleMania 31 match back in 2015 there. And, yeah, I wanted to also talk about this real quick. So WWE is just having this massive flex go on where they're like, oh, that's cute. AEW, they're doing like 15,000 people at shows and stuff. That's cute. We'll start running stadium shows at our pay-per-views because they're just like, yeah, Money in the Bank next July. It's going to be in a stadium, and I can't remember what stadium it's going to be, but yeah, I just thought that was really cool how they're just flexing now. They're just like, we're the man. We got it. Anyways, so I don't know when I'll be back with another pay-per-view or show review, but stay tuned, guys. If you guys want to see any more, just drop a comment below, and I definitely will make another one. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were on the show. So, I guess, alright, I didn't talk about my favorite and least favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show was Edge's entrance. Least favorite part of the show was the Eva Marie versus Alexa Bliss match. Wasn't terrible, but eh. Alright, peace, guys.